Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather, and on this channel we like to walk a very fine line between a shopping addicted makeup monster and a responsible adult with a makeup hobby. Now, I really enjoy eyeshadow singles, duochromes, multi-chromes, blush, highlight, bronzer, lip gloss, basically everything except pressed glitter, and today we're going to be ranking all of the palettes that I tried in July. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick with me, we're getting into it right now. If you're interested in this look and how I got it, the video that is pertains to this look, this is the Rebel Rouge Labs Gods and Monsters palette. Oh my gosh, that is a mouthful. But that's the palette that I used to get this look, and a video will be coming soon. But in the meantime, let's talk palettes. So I tried 8 palettes in the month of July, a little bit more sedate than the month of June because June was a 14 palette. So if you missed that video, definitely go check it out. It'll be in my playlist. But now let's get into the 8 palettes that I tried in July. So the one that was coming in at number 8 is actually this Nabla Cutie palette. This is the number 7 analog palette. And I think if you guys have been here for any amount of time, you know why this came in at number 8, and it's because it's neutral. Now, if this was more of like a mid-toned kind of boring neutral palette, I probably would have just decluttered it or sold it on Poshmark or something like that before I even got a chance to use it. But I really was drawn to this shade. It's like an orange to gold duochrome, and I loved this super dark metallic brown and then this really dark kind of satin brown. Those shades together really made me kind of stop and re-evaluate whether or not I wanted to try this palette. So ultimately I did. I took it with me on a long weekend with my husband to celebrate 4th of July, and I actually really enjoyed the looks that I got with it. I thought it was really like pretty, it was really classy, but it was still very like dark and smoky, which I like, because I feel like a lot of neutral palettes that kind of go like light to mid-tone, and then they kind of leave out the dark tones unless they just throw in like a token black shade. So I really like that this one was very deep and vibrant even though it was neutral. Still though, it's neutral, so it came in at number 8. Number 7 is the Ace Beaute Paradise Fallen palette. I used this once or twice. I used it to make an eyeshadow look in a video that I ultimately decided not to post because I thought it was just going to be too controversial. But I really like the way that the look came out. I think the formula is nice, but it's very hard pressed, and so it comes across feeling very dry. The metallics, they're nice, but again, they're so hard pressed that they just feel almost like more of a satin by the time they actually come onto your lids. So for me, even though I really love this color story, I think it's really pretty, I bumped it lower because of the formula. Ace Beaute palettes, the ones that I've tried, I'm really glad that I've gotten them, you know, new, but like resold on Mercari or something like that, because if I would pay full price for this palette, which I believe is like $25 plus the shipping, I think I would have been really disappointed with this palette. Actually, they might be even more expensive than that. Either way, I would not have been happy paying that much. I paid $17 for this shipped, which was not too bad, and it was new at the time that I purchased it, but if I paid full price, I think I'd be a little bit disappointed because I just don't love the Ace Beaute formula. Like, I love their color stories. I think their color stories are awesome, but their formula is just very dry and hard pressed. Coming in at number 6 is the Juvia's Place Blushed palette. This is one of their the Blushed Rose palette. So this is one of their 6-pan palettes. Again, it has this like pinky, peachy, gold duochrome type shade. I'm really drawn to those recently, if you couldn't tell. I love the like soft pinky rose color that they have. And then these 4 mattes I think are different enough that they just make a really pretty, soft, beautiful pink kind of eye look. This kind of red tone shade I think is really nice because it's deep enough to really smoke out an outer crease. It gives some depth, some dimension without pulling an entirely red direction and kind of looking like it's out of place in the palette. So overall, I really like the looks that I did with this. Because it's a smaller palette, I put it towards the bottom, but I think it's a really great quality palette. If you were thinking about picking it up, you would not be disappointed. Alright, coming in at number 5, this is the other Nabla Cutie palette, and this is the Midnight palette. This is number 6, and it looks like this. It is absolutely beautiful. I did pick up the Nabla Trend Mood box, which had these 2 cutie palettes in it, which is why I got to try them both at the same time. I picked up the whole box because I thought, you know, if I was going to, I wanted to try at least this, and I wanted to get the one liner that was in it. Those two things together were roughly the cost of the box, and the box also gave you a body lava to try. It gave you 3 pencils instead of 1, gave you 2 palettes instead of 1, so that was enough for me to say, you know what, I'll just go ahead and pick up the whole box, because even if I don't like anything else, I got my money's worth. But I ended up really liking these palettes. This navy is so pretty on the lids. You've got this really soft kind of periwinkle blue. I like that they included one kind of neutral brown shade to kind of offset everything, but I don't think you necessarily need it in order to make a really pretty eye look. I did film a video with these palettes, but I don't think I actually edited it and published it. So I think at some point I need to go through and do that so you guys can check it out. But I did really enjoy using this particular palette, so it made it all the way to number 5. 4 more. Coming in at number 4. This is where it got tricky, because 4, 3, and 2, I could have probably rearranged several more times, but I needed to just settle myself down. So coming in at number 4, this is the Rebel Rouge Lads, Gods, and Monsters palette. That's actually the palette that I have on my eyes today. I think this looks so pretty. I love the fact that they have different artwork for the like outer carton and the inner carton, so I'm actually going to be keeping both because I just really like the artwork. I think it's really cool. And then this is the color story. Again, I think it gives me kind of the Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam palette vibes. I really like the shades that they used in here. The metallics are really nice and smooth metallics. They aren't super like ultra foiled type metallics, but they give a really nice shine to the look. I think they are very complementary to the mattes that they picked in this palette, and even though you've got purple, you've got blue, you've got pink, you've got green, you kind of are all over the place, I think the colors are cohesive enough that they actually still all go together. So I've been really happy playing with this. I can't wait to dig into it a little bit more. Coming in at number 3, this is the Mikayla and Glamlite palette. So when I saw this sneak peek, I actually thought this cover was like filled with water because they were showing this in slow motion. So I thought it was just like the speed, and I thought it was filled with water. Come to find out, it's just like open air. So that wasn't quite as exciting for me, but I get why they did it, because if it was water and it leaked, it would ruin all your shadows. It does come with an enormous mirror, which I definitely appreciate. Let me not blind you with the mirror though, guys. And then this is what the palette looks like. I think for me personally, these 3 rows plus this shade Manifest would have been like the bee's knees. I don't know that I necessarily needed 2 rows of neutrals, but it's not my palette, so I don't get to decide the color story. But I was so happy to use this palette. I think the metallics are fantastic. I did not have any trouble with the mattes. I have heard my aunt had some trouble with the mattes, so it's kind of disappointing. I don't know if she got a bad palette or, you know, I'm not sure. But I think that this palette works really nicely. I've really enjoyed the looks that I've done with it. This Manifest and Naz shades, oh my goodness, when you put them on the lids, it's like a complete game changer. So I've really enjoyed using this. I put it up higher, of course, because it's a little bit bigger palette, a little bit more variety. So yeah, it made it to number 3 this month. And then coming in at number 2 is the Alien Cosmetics and Strawberry Milkshake palette. I keep wanting to call it milkshake, shortcake, cheesecake, strawberry, whatever. But anyway, Strawberry Milkshake palette, and it looks like this inside. This is only the second thing from Alien Cosmetics I've tried. The first one that I tried was the Dreamweaver quad. They don't sell it anymore. It was absolutely terrible. I'm sure it was private labeled. It was just trash. But this actually seems like a little bit better quality, so I'm definitely glad that it seems like they've stepped their quality up. For me personally, this shade Whip was pretty unnecessary. I don't really need it to set down my eyeshadow looks. I don't really use it as a brow bone highlight. I'm not quite sure what I would use that as, but I really like the other shades in this palette. The greens blend out really nicely. The pink and the matte red here are really, really pretty. I love this kind of like pinky lavender type shade. It almost feels like kind of a soft smoky lavender shade. It's very, very pretty on the lids. This gold and the red here I really like in combination together, and the pink I think is a really nice vibrant pink. You get a heck of a lot of staining with this palette, so just beware if you are not somebody that appreciates staining on your lids. You might want to steer clear of this one because you're going to get a lot of staining, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it made some really nice looks. I do have a video on my channel using this palette, so I will try to link that as well, because I think it is a really pretty palette. Alright you guys, coming in at number 1. Are we surprised? No, we're not. First of all, I thought about picking up this palette for probably a good 2 months before I ultimately picked it up, because I was like, you have so many pinky purple palettes, do you really need this one? I had been thinking about getting the Menagerie Flight Club palette, but it had been in and out of stock so frequently, and I was getting so frustrated with trying to catch that one on a restock. And then this one came out and I was like, this is like Flight Club, but a little bit more expanded, a little bit more cool tone. This is what I really want. So I ended up deciding to pick it up. I had a $25 gift card to Sephora, so that brought the price down to about $35 before tax, which I thought was a pretty reasonable price. I have used every single shade in this palette with the exception of the glitter, because again, I'm just not a glitter girl. Like, I'm just not. I mean, look at how pretty you can make looks without having to use a pressed glitter. This is not going to blind me. I like this. So I have a video that will be coming up on my channel. I'm not sure the order that everything is going to be posted, but I have a video coming up on my channel that talks about this palette in particular. You guys, I didn't even make it to my purchase or pass yet, and I already got cut off by my battery dying. So back to this palette. Oh my gosh, kind of tricky to open because it's magnetized and I don't want to jam my fingers into the actual product, but I do think that the shades in here are really, really pretty. You have some gorgeous, very vibrant purples in here. You have these really pretty kind of like rosewoody, kind of red mauve type shades, which I really appreciate. This shimmer is so pretty, metallic, sparkly on the lid. It puts so much light and dimension into your look, which I really appreciate. I love this kind of like lavender silver type shade. It definitely pulls very silver, but I think it has just enough of like a tint of purple or like a fuchsia type purple to make it kind of cohesive with the rest of the palette. It's not pure silver, but I think it's very, very pretty. I really like the kind of darker metallic shades that you have to kind of round out the looks, especially this one. I really, really like that. This is one of those mattes with glitter in it. I really don't care about that, but some people get in their feelings on it. I personally don't mind it. This one is the same type of formula. It has just a little bit of this. Oh wait, that might just be my shades mixing together, but definitely this one does. Has a little bit of like pink and gold glitter in it. This white is actually super pigmented, and in the video that I talk about this palette, I do use that white so you can kind of see how bright and vibrant it is. The only other white I have like that is the Raw Beauty Christie Impure palette white. This palette's heavy, my gosh. But I do really like the whole collection of colors that they put together here. I did a whole week of looks using this palette, and I was so happy with how everything came out. So for me, this definitely rose up to #1 easily, no competition. Alright you guys, and with that being said, that is all 8 palettes that I tried out this month. I know it's a little bit shorter of a month, but really, I mean, 8 palettes is still a heck of a lot of palettes. Do we need to try 8 palettes a month? No, we don't. But I walked that very fine line, so I did. Let me know in the comments below, what are the palettes that you've been trying out this month? What have you been really enjoying? Definitely, if there's anything I should be checking out, leave it in the comments down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye!